This ballet was created as part of the Stravinsky Festival, which was celebrating Mr. Stravinsky's 90th birthday. Unfortunately, he passed just a little bit before it. And because of Mr. Balanchine's relationship with Stravinsky as a father figure and the creativity that they sparked one with another, and fellow Russians, et cetera, Balanchine wanted to redo the Stravinsky Violin Concerto, and it did come together very beautifully, as Maria said. He was lucky to have a whole lifetime to work on his choreography, but he did some of his best works as a 21-year-old man. At any rate, Stravinsky Violin Concerto is certainly considered one of the masterpieces of his whole career.
There was a commission to Stravinsky to create the score, and the violinist that it was for was Dushkin. And so Stravinsky is like, this is his first try at a violin solo piece. And he says, I just can't do this. No, I can't do this. And Hindemith, who is the composer of the Four Temperaments, says, Igor, you've got this, you can do it. So then in comes Dushkin, and Dushkin looks at the first chord, and he goes, absolutely no, I can't do this, oh my goodness. But he goes home and he tries it, calls Stravinsky, and he says, I can do this, I've got it.
With Mr. Balanchine, music is integral to the creation. And this Stravinsky Violin Concerto is a fantastic piece. And there are references to personal life. Stravinsky, the second aria, he has told his assistant, that would be the third movement, is an apology to his wife for having a mistress.
Vera.
So you can see this in the choreography, because Mr. Balanchine was very close with Stravinsky while this was all going on. And it does show up in the music emotionally. It's perhaps one of the most emotional parada he has made. Generally, he stays away from the emotion and it's more intellectual. Stravinsky Violin Concerto runs the gamut. We have joy, we have pathos, we have very interesting, energetic sharing in almost modern dance, and we have a tribute to his country, Tbilisi, where they do actual steps from the Georgian folk dance. Part of Mr. Balanchine's legacy is what we call black and white, which again saves money.
No costumes.
You don't have to have costumes, but it lends itself to the viewer's imagination.
Yes, I love that, what you say to the dancers. I have to see your costumes. I have to see the mood. You have to make believe you're in Tbilisi. We're at a wine festival, and it really does help.
It takes them a while to be able to express without a backdrop and a costume, but when they finally start doing it as a group, it's very strong. And you can hear what it should be in Stravinsky's music.
The count for the dancers is incredibly difficult.
It's really lined up beautifully, and a violin has the ability to be like a singer. And the score is written so that it breathes. And the violinist is as a soprano. And they actually call the second and the third movement the first aria and the second aria. And that connotates singing for sure. And that's right in the score. Mr. Balanchine has brilliantly divided the music into a presentation of the four principal dancers with the core behind them. A man and four women, a woman and four men. Every permutation of this that you can have, and each of the principal dancers has two solos, which kind of illuminate their character, so to speak, in the arias. And there are Slavic references all over the place. Though when the dancers first learn it, they want to classical balletize it because of Concerto Barocco, and other Balanchine ballets that are super classical. It tributes to St. Petersburg and the classical tradition and the Tchaikovsky legacy. Stravinsky allows this beautiful icing and cake to sit on top of the classical ballet foundation. And I have to remind the dancers that it is a ballet sometimes, and we're doing style on top. And the formation of pas de deux, variation, variation. In Stravinsky Violin Concerto, it's variation, 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 pas de deux, pas de deux. And then the finale is involving everybody, and it actually brings the music to life. There's contrapuntal situations going on with the soloist and the corps and the body of the orchestra. At one moment in the finale, there are 4 different sets of counts going on. The corps men, the corps women, the solo men and the solo women each have different counts, illuminating different parts of the score. But now that I've studied it and teach it, it shows the depth and breadth of the creativity there and the visualization of the music. We had a poster back for the Stravinsky Festival that said, hear the dance and see the music. When the curtain goes up, you have to smell the musk and see the costumes, yet it's just 4 men and 1 woman standing in 6th position, staring straight at you. But they have to say, just wait, what you're going to see is mind-blowing and full of joy.
Ballet is kind of a thing where you just kind of get better at it, you just keep going. And I got into the School of American Ballet. It was hard because you had to really improve, but I was able to do that. And 3 years, and Mr. Balanchine was very present at the school at that point. He would come in, he would watch class, he picked the dancers to come into the company. And my graduation performance was Serenade. I always did the Dark Angel, which is the woman in the arabesque. And then that's how I got into the company. It was 1974. So we had a good stretch of time with him before he died in '83, and that was very good.
There was a Nutcracker at what was then the Utah Civic Ballet in Salt Lake. So I was in that version of Nutcracker. Willem Christensen was my teacher and mentor through high school. And I was sitting on the floor waiting to rehearse the mouse and the party scene in Nutcracker, and they were rehearsing Serenade, which was in their repertory. And I had never seen anything like this in my life. I didn't really know ballet either. It was, I had to find who made this magic. I don't think I knew Tchaikovsky either. And it came in that it was Balanchine and he was in New York. And suddenly I was doing all of Balanchine, all of Robbins, and Mr. Balanchine asked me to be Mr. Robbins' assistant. So it was quite a intense rise. And Balanchine was just my idol, Robbins too.
So one of the things that we try to work on is how do you birth that dancer with their capacities in the role. We try to work very hard. Do not be a copy of that person you are watching. And but yet then we have to still keep them in the parameter of what we knew Mr. Balanchine wanted.
One of the most important things I learned from Mr. Balanchine as he was creating on me, or as I was going into other roles, because he only created one thing on me, which was beautiful, beautiful, but mostly he didn't want an exact replica. If I wasn't contributing my abilities to it, then it wasn't complete, because it wasn't a cookie cutter pass on. He would often change some of the steps for the new dancer that was going into the role, and he adapted the Four Temperaments finale for the whole ballet after supplements that I did on the movements that were there. And that was also quite an honor. But the myth that he only liked one type of dancer is totally a myth. There were all sorts of ballerinas that he was really inspired by. And mostly it was their ability to illuminate his idea. We were the clay for his vision. Corps de ballet, the body of the ballet. And he was the brain.
The dancers are very, and the people, like I was saying to you before, there's a respect of the work. There's a respect of the people they're working with. We don't get that all the time. You know, we get a lot of resistance, and that's very difficult. But here, very much open to the work, wanting to get it right. The staff's been great. Fernando's been terrific. And I love the look that they create. You know, it's very beautiful, it's very elegant. And it fits with Mr. B's, I think it fits nicely with Mr. Balanchine's intentions.
I loved being here. I love working with the dancers. They have respect for their elders. So there's something about Portugal that is nice because there is this respect.
Like the cars stop when you want to cross the street. But that helps the work, and I mean, there's a reason to say that. It just, the dignity and the respect helps the work come to life.
And we recognize it.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah, lovely. But there's also been written so much about, you know, Stravinsky breaking through the Victorian era, you know, and like our great artists that did that as well. And I think that's so key. And then Balanchine was doing that, you know, like with Agon and those ballets.
And Picasso was breaking.
Yeah, and there was something special about them being in New York doing these pieces. That was a kind of a breakthrough energy there. And it's very important.
They are all classical based and therefore neoclassical. Some of Stravinsky's most beautiful music is written on themes from early.
And yes, like Apollo is beautiful.
Purcell and
Firebird. It's you can hear the music.
When they first came out, they were indeed brand new, and with new avenues for classical ballet to go in. For years, you find the ideas in these ballets in other realms, in other choreographers' work.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is inspired by what's around them. And Balanchine also, but he was perhaps the most prolific, creative ballet expander of this century.